All right, we're back. Like,
We
subscribe,
back.
all that shit. Hype the video. What else? Comments. Tell me if we're good bookers or bad bookers. Either way, it don't matter. Let's get the show underway, man. The show starts with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era coming out. Cole grabs a mic and says, "At the Rumble, I'm going one-on-one in a Falls Count Anywhere match with Carmelo Hayes. I know what you're thinking. How on earth am I going to get out of this one? Well, the same way I always do, by being the best in the world. After I defeat Carmelo, I am going to enter the Royal Rumble, and I am going to win the entire thing. And the manifest destiny of the Undisputed Era will begin. We'll have all the belts. Me, both world titles. Roddy with the IC and the US Championship. Redragon with both sets of tag titles. You can try to run from it, but you can't escape it. And me winning the Rumble is the start of it all. But before we get to that, there's something that I have to acknowledge. JD, step forward, please. JD does as he's told. Cole puts his hand on JD's shoulder and continues. The past few weeks, you've been distant. You haven't really been around us. Where have you been? Nowhere. I've just been thinking recently. Thinking about what? Have we not given you everything that you need? Yeah, you guys have. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes I don't know if I recognize the person in the mirror. Well then, you better recognize him fast. Because tonight, you need to take care of this Carmelo Hayes problem. Because you're going to go one-on-one with him tonight. So don't mess it up. JD's face is saying that he doesn't want to do it. Cole takes his hand off JD's shoulder and walks off with the Undisputed Era as Jay follows about 10 feet behind them. Then we open the show with Pete Dunne versus The Miz. Pete Dunne wins. And after Pete Dunne wins, Roddy immediately comes back after leaving and attacks him. Roddy beats him down. He grabs a mic to say, "You thought I would allow you to destroy my fingers and my eyesight without any repercussions? Well, you thought wrong, pal. Me and you. For my IC championship at the Rumble. I need that pay-per-view bonus anyways. So thanks for keeping a heads up for me. See you later, dumbass." Roddy starts walking away when Pete gets up and low blows him. Then he hits a bitter end. He grabs a mic and says, "Man, I have an accountant. You can have his number. He can probably fix all your money problems. I'll email it to you later." Roddy's on the ground in pain, but he starts shaking his head yes and gives a thumbs up. Backstage, Shin comes up to Mello and says, "I heard you're facing JD tonight." "Yep, what about it?" "He's still in there, man. Don't go too hard on him. You heard him tonight, right? He's almost back. Trust me." "Shin, I got a world title match soon. I can't risk going easy on him. His orders are to take me out, and I can't let him do that. You know I can't." "I know. Well, I'll be ringside tonight. Keep my eye on things. Make sure things don't get too out of control." "All right. Thanks. Well, I gotta go get ready, so I'll see you out there." They nod at each other. They fist bump as Mello walks away. Rhea's backstage. When Julia walks up to her, they stare at each other for a while until Julia finally says, "You know you were lucky last week." Rhea just chuckles and says, "Don't be a sore loser. I beat you, and there's no shame in that. Because you lost to the best in the world, and it's just common sense. I lost because I've been here every week, day in and day out, putting my body on the line for months. Meanwhile, you were sitting at home resting. And might I remind you about how the match ended? I didn't give up. My body did. So if you want to say you're the best, then let's see how you do against me next week when I actually have a week to recover." "Fine. Let's run it back. Rhea versus Julia 3, the tiebreaker. See you next week, says Julia as she smiles and she walks off. Oop. Um, then we get this match: Lita and Trish versus Nikki and Brie Bella. Pre-match, Lita and Trish say they're excited to be chasing the tag titles at the Rumble. That's when the Bellas come out to say they don't deserve this title shot, and if they were real championship material, they'd put that shot on the line against them right here, right now, and they do. And Lita and Trish win the match to keep their match at the Rumble. Then Punk and Heyman enter my office. Punk says, "All right, whose balls do I have to fondle to get into the Rumble?" What? Yeah, that's what Roddy told me when he was walking past me a couple hours ago. And you listen to him? That man is not in his right mind. Yeah, I thought he was off his rocker, but I didn't want to assume it. Trying to be PC, you know. Well, here, these are the Rumble balls. Just pick one and be on your way. Punk picks a ball. Before he can look at it, a security guard comes in and says, "Roman's coming this way, Punk." Ah, shit. Punk runs and exits through the back entrance when Roman comes in saying, "Have you seen Punk?" Can't say I have, man, I but since you're here, do you want to pick your Rumble number? Sure, but aren't you scared to get sued? Huh? What are you talking about? Get sued for sexual harassment, man. God damn it, did you talk to Roddy? Yeah, I did. How did you know? That guy's insane. Don't talk to him. Just pick a number from these white balls. Ah, that makes more sense. He picks a ball and says, "Damn, I guess I got a long night ahead of me. Well, thanks for not making me fondle your balls, and let me know if you see Punk anywhere." Roman walks out. Then we get this match. Mello is out there by himself. He has no help. Not Mello. JD is out there by himself. He has no help from the rest of the Undisputed Era. The last minute, see JD unbuckling the top turnbuckle. Then he throws it out the ring. The ref goes to get it. He starts fixing it. JD has the ref distracted, so he goes for a low blow. Shin comes in and tackles him and just bear hugs him on the ground, telling him that this isn't the way. JD fights it, saying that he has to do it and he has no choice. Finally, he headbutts Shin to get him off him. Shin rolls out. Shin rolls out of the ring. JD starts standing up. Mello was waiting the whole time. Yeah, he launches himself off the top rope and hits nothing but net on JD. The ref turns around, cover. 1, 2, 3. Carmelo Hayes wins. I think nothing but net is the finisher name of when he fucking top rope drop kick or not
Yes.
drop kick, leg drop.
Yes.
There
I
you
know what
go.
you're talking about. Yes. Nothing but net.
All right. Then we get Bliss. She goes to ringside for this match. This is the number one contenders for the IC no US. There you go, Women's US Championship. She's about to go to ringside for this when Nia comes up to her and says, "I still owe you for stabbing me in the back. So once I win tonight, just know that I'm going to enjoy beating you down for that title. Nia, maybe you should focus on actually getting booked consistently before worrying about a championship, okay? I'll be watching you closely out there. Good luck." Close to the end of the match, Nia is talking shit outside to Bliss. Bliss is ringside at commentary. Bliss doesn't take it kindly to it. Nia then goes back to the ring. Everyone is down. She drags Meech into the corner. She hits her finisher on her. She goes for the cover. 1, 2. Bliss comes in from behind and blasts Nia in the back of the head with her title. Nia falls out of the ring, sees this, and runs. Not Nia. Becky sees this, runs to cover Meechin. 1, 2, 3. Becky Lynch wins and is headed to the Rumble to face Alexa Bliss for the U.S. Championship. It's like her third win of the year. Okay. We then are taken into my office and we see Bianca and Jada arguing about the match last week. Jada says to me, "See, I told you this wouldn't work. She couldn't even be there to break the pin. It's not my fault that you couldn't kick out of a weak ass moonsault. Maybe you should have been better." Jada gets up and gets in Bianca's face. That's when I come in between them and say, "Okay, let's just stop there. We all see where this is going, and I'm not going to allow it." So here's the deal. I saw something in that match. It wasn't much, but it was a spark. I need you two to try again next week. You guys take on a legendary tag team, the Bellas. Are you serious? We're not ready for that. Hell, I can't stand her still. And you want us to go against a bunch of Hall of Famers? Please, guys. I just need you two to trust me on this. Fine. I'll do this for you, not for Bianca. Just so everyone is clear about my motives. Then they walk out. Main event time. Lola's ringside. She gets taken out by Rox. Rox hits her with a pop rocks through the announce table. Jordan is in the ring fighting Bailey. Steph comes in to try to cancel out her power game, but Rox comes in and evens the numbers. Finally, Steph goes for an SVB on Rox. Jordan punches Steph in the face. Steph lets go of Rox. Rox hits a spinning heel kick on Steph's abdomen, hits a pop rocks. Steph rolls out. Jordan hits a Grace driver on Bailey. Cover 1, 2, 3. Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez win. And that is Raw.
Welcome to SmackDown. Like we said at the start of the video, like, subscribe, comment down below, hype the video, share the video. Whatever you can do, do it. I don't
Yeah.
even care what you comment down below, just comment something. With that said, let's get into tonight's episode of SmackDown. Phenomenal Egos come down to the ring and open the show. AJ welcomes everyone to SmackDown tonight and says we have some point of orders we must go over. First off, the tag division. Next week we will be defending our tag titles against the Street Profits. AJ says, now, as much as I respect them as a team, that match shouldn't be much of a challenge. What has been a challenge is how much I have been carrying this team. AJ turns towards a shocked Ethan Page. AJ says, over these past couple of months, I have been working my ass off, earning us title shot after title shot, and putting us in the best position possible. So, Ethan, I want you to prove to me that you want this as much as I do. Ethan asks what he has in mind. AJ says, I have no doubt that we can beat the Street Profits next week. But at the Royal Rumble, I am tasking you with winning it. With winning the Royal Rumble. If you achieve this, then you will go on and face the WWE Champion on Raw, and we will close out WrestleMania as World Champions. And alongside being World Champions, we will still be Tag Champions. Ethan says, what happens if I'm unable to win the Royal Rumble? AJ says, well, let's just say that would be unwise for you not to win that match. And then AJ heads to the back. Camera's cut to commercial. We come back. Malachi Black versus Ricky Saints to open the show. This is the finals for the U.S. title tournament to decide who faces Jacob Fatu. Towards the end of the match, we once again see Jacob Fatu come down to the ring and distract Ricky's opponent. Malachi tries to quickly get re-engaged, but gets caught with a spear. Ricky then picks Malachi up and hits the Rochambeau. Ricky covers Malachi. 1, 2, 3. Ricky Saints gets the title shot against Jacob Fatu. Charlotte and Chemical X then confront Biggie in his office. They ask about the investigation, and Biggie says he has actually had a breakthrough despite Chemical X's accidentally spilling coffee on the finals. Tatum once again apologizes for spilling the coffee. Biggie says next week he will reveal the findings and make a final judgment. Charlotte says, why can't we have it tonight? Biggie says, well, Jade is not going to be here this week, and he feels like he owes it to her to reveal the findings in front of her as well. Charlotte scoffs and says, well, what do you have for us tonight then? Biggie says, oh, you guys want a match? Well, how about we get Tatum and Charlotte in some tag action then? Let's say you guys go up against Zaruka. Charlotte says fine, and then leaves with Chemical X. Asuka is in her locker room with Kairi and berates her for losing to Dakota last week. Io then enters the room and prevents Asuka from hitting Kairi with the fan again. Io says, "You will not hit Kairi anymore." Kairi says, "It's okay." But Io stands between them and Asuka scoffs and heads out of the room. Io tells Kairi that she needs to stand up more for herself. Kairi says it's fine. Dakota then enters the room and Kairi has to stand between her and Io now. Dakota says, "I come here with good intentions." Io says, "All your good intentions have felt more like knives." Dakota says, "I was just wanting to apologize to Kairi for getting in the middle of her and Asuka last week." Dakota tries to explain further, but sees Kairi and Io back up. Dakota then questions why they're backing up and turns around to get misted by Asuka. It's that segment. Then head down to the ring, Swerve Strickland versus Damian Priest. Swerve is setting up for the house call when he gets tripped up by a masked Dominic Mysterio. Swerve shouts down to Dom, and when he turns around, he gets chokeslammed by Priest, and Priest covers Swerve for the 1, 2, 3. Um, Liv and Raquel are then interviewed about winning the tag titles a couple of weeks ago. Liv says it has been great being champions again and looks forward to a long reign with the belts. Mercedes and Team Bad then walk into frame and says, "You got lucky a couple of weeks ago. If it wasn't for that stupid wheel, you guys wouldn't have even had the chance to win those belts." Liv says, "Well, we got the chance and we took the belts. Now I understand we have a match here shortly, so we're going to finish getting ready and we'll see if our win was a fluke." They go to walk away and then come back and Liv says, "But it wasn't, of course," and does her laugh. We then see Kevin Owens is in Big E's office and draws his number for the Rumble. Owens says, "I swear, if Braun eliminates me from that Rumble, I am going to lose it. He was supposed to be away for longer. Like, what is his neck made out of? Titanium?" Then he looks to Big E and says, "Sorry, I know neck injuries are kind of a sore spot for you." Big E says, "It's fine, Kevin." Braun then walks into the room and mean mugs Kevin as he draws his number. He doesn't even open it. He just tells Kevin he can't wait to meet him in the ring. Kevin looks to Big E as Braun leaves and says, "How does he even know what number he's going to get? He didn't even look at it." We then head down to the ring for Team Bad versus Liv and Raquel for the women's tag titles. Towards the end of the match, we see AJ Lee come skipping down to the ring. This causes Tamina to hop off the apron and gives chase to AJ. AJ uh, skips around the ring and back up the ramp, and back inside we see Naomi just watching this. Tamina chases AJ up the ramp and into the backstage area as Naomi yells out for her. Naomi, realizing she is all alone, turns around and gets hit with a big boot from Raquel. Raquel then gets her up and hits a Tahana bomb and covers Naomi for the 1, 2, 3. Liv and Raquel retain the titles. After we come back from commercial, we see Naomi meet up with Tamina and Mercedes. Naomi complains about Tamina just leaving her. Mercedes says, "We got screwed out there." She then storms the group to Big E's office and complains about what just happened. Big E laughs and says, "It sucks when someone heads out and distracts you, doesn't it?" Mercedes says, "This isn't funny. We demand to be added to that match of the Royal Rumble for those tag titles." Big E says, "So you want to make it a three-way tag?" Mercedes says, "I want those tag titles back on my girls. So we are getting that. So are we getting that match or not?" Biggie says, "Well, if you want that challenge, then best of luck to you. I'm going to make it a three-way." We establish the match now at the Royal Rumble. Liv and Raquel facing Team Bad, and barring any changes, we'll be facing Trish and Lita. Cody Rhodes then comes across Phenomenal Ego's locker room where Ethan Page is leaving to draw his number for the Rumble. Cody just lets him pass and then enters the room. Cody says, "That was pretty harsh, huh?" AJ says, "Harsh? Please, that was letting him off easy. I mean, you tried to carry the greatest tag team of all time on your shoulders." Cody says, "I mean, uh, Ethan is kind of the one who helped you find yourself again. And remember what happened at Survivor Series where you were completely worn down from the chamber and you went out there and gave it his all to try to retain those belts?" AJ says, and remind me what happened as a result of that match. Oh yeah, we lost those belts, which I had to scratch and claw our way back to regaining. Cody says, well, maybe just an ounce of respect would possibly be appreciated by Paige. AJ says he will get my respect when we are both world champions. Cody says, you coin yourself as a phenomenal king, right? AJ says, yeah. Cody says, well, maybe you should reconsider calling yourself the righteous king. At Rumble, hopefully your ego doesn't blind you in our match, because if you're leading with your ego, then I'm going to take that belt from you and you'll be left with nothing. Cody then leaves, and AJ ponders what Cody just told him. He head down to the ring. Charlotte and Tatum versus Zaruka. Charlotte and Tatum pick up the win. Ricky Saints is interviewed about Bloodline Wolfpack now interfering in his past couple of matches. Ricky says, I have no clue what their motive is, but all that matters is that next week I get a 1v1 match for that US title. And when I win, it's going to be the start of the revolution. And then see Karrion Kross and Final Testament give their final thoughts to Gable before the cage match. Kross says to Gable, we're just mere moments away from absolute carnage. Now, I know this seems abrupt to be forcing you into a cage with a monster like myself, but you see, Gable, I see putting a man through hell reveals his true intentions. So if you're the coward I believe you are, then I expect you to try to escape from the cage. But maybe, and I'm really hoping for this, maybe, there's a warrior in there that is going to take the fight to me. Unfortunately, words can only do so much, and it seems like it's time to find out who you really are. Head down to the ring, Karrion Kross versus Chad Gable in a cage match. The cage lowers around both men, and as soon as the bell rings, Gable tries to climb and escape. Kross just laughs to himself and climbs up the cage and pulls him down. They exchange some words and Kross grabs Gable and goes to Irish whip him towards the cage. But instead of bouncing back, Gable just starts climbing as soon as he gets to the wall. Kross once again goes to climb to get him, but this time Gable manages to kick him down. Gable then gets to the top and starts to climb down on the outside when he notices AOP standing at the bottom. Gable immediately climbs back up, and once he gets to the top, he looks down each side and realizes it's either AOP or it's Karrion Kross. Gable makes a cross against his chest and stands up. Kross chats down to AOP and say there's no way he's about to do what I think he's about to do, right? As he finishes speaking, Gable leaps off and crossbodies Kross. Gable goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Gable takes a moment to catch his breath and starts picking up Kross. He goes to throw him into the cage, but Kross reverses this and throws Gable into the cage instead. This immediately busts Gable open, and Kross has a wicked smile across his face seeing this. Kross then spends the next couple of minutes just throwing Gable across the ring and into the cage. Kross seems like he'll just walk his way to the finish line um, when he gets Gable into the cross jacket in the middle of the ring. Gable is slowly fading, but all of a sudden has a flash of energy and slips behind Kross and drives him into the corner. He then rolls backwards with him and hits an O'Connor roll. He holds the suplex at the end and covers Kross. 1, 2, kick out. Gable slowly picks himself up with a full crimson mask at this point and pulls down the straps. And as Kross tries to crawl away, Gable grabs onto his ankle and locks in the Gable lock. Um, Kross fights his way to the ropes, but there are no rope breaks in a cage match. Kross continues to fight and crawls his way to the door and demands AOP open it. They do, and as Kross gets his head poking out of the door, the Creed brothers slam the door shut on Kross's head. Gable then pulls Kross back into the middle of the ring and grapevines his leg. Kross, being in this hold for quite some time now, can't fight any longer and taps out. Gable releases the hold and just lays flat in the ring. Creed brothers come in and help Gable, whilst AOP pulls Kross out of the ring. So Chad Gable picks up the win. And that is SmackDown.